welcome to the Shara Made Podcast. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and a big hello if you're brand new this episode. I've got quite a few things to get through today. I've been pretty busy, although I've sort of been working almost monogamously on one project, but I've still got a couple of things. I might just dive straight into whips. Now, you might remember these from a previous episode. It's a pair of socks that I'm knitting with the Regia Perfect yarn. I'll show you the label because it gives you a better idea of what the yarn's all about. You'll see the yellow leader yarn on there, and if you start knitting at the yellow leader yard and then knit your sock, there's 2 yellow leader yards per ball. You should end up with 2 identical socks. So I'm only on the first one at the moment, so I can't attest to the accuracy of that, but I guess we'll find out. So, got this sock. It's kind of turning out huge. I still don't know whether I'm going to keep it or frog it yet, but we'll just have to wait and see. But because these are just a plain old vanilla sock, I got a little bit bored with them and I didn't do a whole lot of work on them this week, but they're getting there. They're getting there. I think by the end of this week I should have at least the first one finished, and then I'll know whether I'm going to keep going with this project or not. But they're pretty groovy. I love these stripes. I'd actually love a sweater in those colours, but anyway. So that's my first whip. My next whip is my black sweater. I've gotten quite a bit further on this now. The last time you saw it, it was just a part of the yoke and it really wasn't looking like much at all, but you can sort of tell it's a sweater now. Let me see if I can untangle it enough to hold it up. So, you can sort of almost see some of the pattern. Not exactly what the pattern's going to look like, but this is actually inside out at the moment. When it's around the right way, there is a lot of purling and dog hair. This jumper is at least 25% rosy hair, but there's a whole lot of purling on the right side, and I find that purling really strains my hands if I'm doing loads of it. If I'm just doing a bit of rib or something, no trouble, but when I'm doing a whole lot like that on a whole sweater, it really hurts my hands. So, and I'm a bit slower with purl than I am with knit, like most people. And then I thought, well, why don't I just turn it inside out or knit it inside out, and then most of the stitches will be knit stitches. So I've got 17 knit stitches, then 1 purl stitch, 17 knit, 1 purl, and that's so much easier than 17 purl, 1 knit, 17 purl, 1 knit. And it's moving along at a reasonable pace, but I'm not working on it as much as I should be. I really want to have it finished by next week, but I don't know. I might be fooling myself thinking that, but it's looking a whole lot more like a sweater. It's getting there. You can sort of see I'm probably just above my belly button so far. I'm about to start, I've done the waist decreases, I'm about to start the waist increases, and then the body will almost be finished by the time I've done that. And the sleeves don't take that long at all, so hopefully I'll be able to have it finished. I want it finished by Thursday because I want to wear it to an event. But we'll have to see about that. This time around, you probably remember me whinging about how the pattern is not symmetrical. It looks like should be symmetrical, and I would prefer it if it was symmetrical, but the way the pattern's written, it's not. There's points in the pattern of the yoke with a line of knit down the centre of each point that goes down the body, and they're off kilter. If you follow the pattern, they're off kilter, and it doesn't look great to me. But it was not hard at all to shift everything around a couple of stitches and get everything lining up so it was straight, and it didn't take me any time at all to change that around so that it was lining up and it was straight. When I made the first one, I didn't realise that that's what was happening until I got a fair way into it, and then thought, what? Why is this wonky? What have I done wrong? I hadn't done anything wrong, and I didn't like it, so I picked it all back and I changed it around, and it took me forever to figure out how to do it. But now that I've done that once, it was a breeze. So that was good. I cannot wait to have that finished. It's going to be so pretty. I keep looking at it unfinished and thinking of all the outfits I could wear it with when it's done. So I better get knitting. I hope I can do a fair bit of knitting on that this afternoon. Now my next whip, this is my next whip. So mainly I've only been knitting on that, but I did do a little bit of knitting on something else, and it's the beginning of another pair of socks. Now these are actually the third pair of socks I've knit on since the last episode, and you'll see they're in a pretty groovy DPN cozy. A little whip keeper there. I made this whip keeper, and it's got these socks in it. Let me take that one out so you can see it better. Now, I don't know if this is apparent, but clearly I've used a solid black for the rib, and then I've used 2 strands held double, one beigey kind of colour and a dark charcoal. The dark charcoal is Peyton's Embrace 2-ply, which is 90% merino, 10% silk. And it's really beautiful. When I got it, I didn't realise it had silk in it. I just thought it was pure wool, but it's beautiful. Beautiful. And I think the silk content might help with the durability of the socks. But also to help with the durability of the socks, I'm using a strand of this, which is a wool and stainless steel blend. And I've not knit with this yarn before, but it is also beautiful. And the combination of those 2 yarns is making the most delicious fabric. And it's the Katia Inox lace. And I got that on sale just to try it. And this is also merino as well, the wool content of it. And I'm so glad I did. But this is an idea for a pair of socks that I have had in my head, I reckon, for about 3 or 4 years. So I was really excited to finally get it out. I think these are going to look so groovy with dog hair. So groovy. They're going to be extra cozy. This fabric is so soft. And I'm just doing a 3x1 rib. I don't know if that's probably not apparent in the video, but it actually looks really cool inside out as well. So maybe I'll wear them inside out. I don't know. But I'm loving those. Cannot wait to work on those a little more in my little DPN cozy. This thing is so groovy. And I think that's all my current whips. It is. So, we'll have a little tea time interlude. This is a new mug that arrived in the mail yesterday. I don't know if you can see what's on there, but it's the Sagittarius constellation. And I'm Sagittarius, obviously. It'd be a bit weird if I was a Leo and had this cup, but never mind. And the tea I'm drinking is a tea from T2, which is a big tea shop in Australia. It's like a chain of tea shops. Sort of like Canada's version of David's Tea, for example. And it's a caramel brownie black tea. God, it's so good. I often hang out for a cup of that tea. Now, I've got a couple of finished objects. I might start with this one. This is something I've been working on for a little while, and it's my latest shawl design. And I think I've finally chosen a name for it, but I guess you'll find out when I publish the pattern. But it's finished and I'm so pleased with it. Look. It's a bit big to show in the whole screen, but you get it. So pleased with this. I love the colour. I haven't really played around with styling for it yet, but you get the idea. I love the colour, and this yarn is beautiful. And the yarn is Clequeton Superfine Merino, which I love working with. I really love it, and it's produced here in my home state. Comes in, I think, 40 different colours. It comes in a lot of colours, and they're all beautiful. And I'm hoping, I've got a little bit of a fibre event coming up this week, and I'm hoping that I can wear my black jumper. I will finish it, and then I can wear this with it to that event. I'll be really pleased with that. And I've got a new dress that will go perfectly with the two. So fingers crossed, but I'm so happy with this beautiful thing. And I think I've got a name for it. And when the pattern is released, I'm going to be doing a little giveaway, a little subscriber giveaway for a kit to make one of these. And that is, oh gosh, it's so beautiful and soft and squishy. Love it, love it, love it. And my next defo is something that I did on a whim. Hadn't planned it at all, but when I was knitting those Regia Perfect socks, I was getting really bored with them because they're just vanilla socks, and after you finish the stripy leg, the rest of it's just plain, and it was getting a bit monotonous, and I wasn't enjoying it. So I had this skein of yarn sitting on my desk staring at me, and it was just so beautiful that I couldn't resist it any longer, and I had to cast it on, and I finished a pair of socks in about 2 days. So yay, aren't they just beautiful? It's a blueberry waffle stitch pattern, as you know by now, I'm addicted to it. And the glorious yarn is from the lovely Sandra from the Craftfulness podcast, and she also has a shop on Etsy where she sells her gorgeous yarn and project bags and DPN cozies. So I'll put a link in the show notes so you can go and check her out as well. And I just bought some more yarn from Sandra because she's a bit of a genius with her colours and her dyeing, and just amazing. This one is a wool, linen, something else blend. I can't remember the exact composition, but oh my god, it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I haven't worn them yet because I wanted to keep them nice to show you, but I cannot wait to wear them. They're so pretty. Oh god, I love them so much. That's quite colour accurate. So pretty, absolutely beautiful. I love all the colours in it, but I really love these little random pops of this bright chartreuse colour. Oh, they're so pretty. of them. So that's another FO. The rest of my FOs are actually sewing FOs. I've been pretty busy on the sewing machine lately, and you might have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen quite a few of my project bags popping up on there. And I've put a few in my Etsy shop, and they seem to be reasonably well received. So that's been really nice. But I'll show you one that I've made. I made this for a friend. She doesn't know she's getting it, and I don't think she watches the podcast, so I don't think I'm going to spoil anything here. But I found a really cool tutorial on YouTube, just randomly stumbled across it, and literally the split second I finished watching the 6-minute tutorial, I got my sewing machine out and I made one because it was so cool. And I'm actually going to put a link in the show notes to this tutorial because it's brilliant. Anyway, this is my little bag that I made. Pretty cool, isn't it? This fabric's really groovy too. And it's a drawstring. It's got these little things that sit up and they're gorgeous. And then it's got pockets on either side. It's sort of a bit like, I've heard them referred to as an origami bag before. There's a little bit of interesting folding going on, but nothing complicated. And this is constructed out of, oh, one of my lights just went out. Anyway, this is constructed out of 2 squares. These were 2 22-inch squares. I'm not sure what that is in centimetres. I was using a ruler that had inches on it. So about 50 centimetre squares, maybe, approximately. Might be making that up. And it's just a matter of folding it in a particular way, and it's fully lined. It's got these gorgeous pockets, these cute little things. I don't know why I love it so much, but I do. And I thought the big orange retro style flowers with the bronze metallic denim was a pretty cool combo. So I'm so pleased with this. I think I'm going to have to make another one because this is so groovy. I think in the tutorial the woman uses 2 fat quarters, which makes a beautiful bag as well. But I wanted something a little bit bigger so you could fit a sock project in it. This is a present for a friend, and I hope she likes it. I think she will. She's a massive fan of orange, so I think this fits the brief. So that's one of my sewing FOs. I cannot wait to make more. And I'm going to just stop showing you my sewing FOs for a second, and just pop a little bit of a, it's not quite an acquisition, but it's sort of an acquisition in here. I don't know if you're familiar with the Wool and the Gang yarns, kids yarn company, the Wool and the Gang. But my local yarn store is going to be stocking the Wool and the Gang yarns, some of them, and they gave me, oh, my other light's gone out now. Actually, it looks better without those 2 lights, so I guess that's what I'll do. They've given me some of the Wool and the Gang's latest yarn, which is called Billie Jean, and it's so I can make a sample for them. The Wool and the Gang Billie Jean yarn called Dirty Denim, and this is made up of 60% upcycled denim and 40% upcycled raw cotton, and the denim, and I believe the cotton as well, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure, are offcuts from the manufacturer of denim and cotton clothing, and they would otherwise end up, all those offcuts would otherwise end up in landfill, which is no good for anyone. So they re-mill the fibre into yarn, and it's really cool. I absolutely love it. It just looks like a pair of frayed jeans, like your favourite frayed jeans. And it feels like it's soft, like your favourite pair of old jeans that you had forever. And I can't wait to start using it. I think I'm going to work on this tomorrow. But the pattern that they want me to do is called the Kelvin top, and it's a crocheted top. You don't really get an idea of what it looks like there, but it's pretty simple. It's basically 2 squares with a solid part for the body and then a mesh for the square yoke or rectangle yoke, and then you join them together to make a little top, little summer top. And it calls for a 6.5 mil, like 6.5 mil hook, but somehow I don't have a 6.5 mil hook, and I went to my local yarn store to grab one and they didn't have any either. And I wonder if it's like a really unusual size that's, well, unusual for Australia, because I can't really recall ever seeing one before, but I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to make it on a 6 mil hook and just do it a little looser. I don't know. So I thought I'd just pop that in here, and I'll show you my progress on that in the next episode, so you can see what it looks like when it's worked up into a fabric, and I think it's going to be really cool. And another little thing I just wanted to say before I get into the next segment is it's been brought to my attention that I keep referring to the wool show that I'm going to attend in July as the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show. However, it's actually called the Australian Sheep and Wool Show, and it just happens to be in Bendigo. And I thought I'd better clear that up in case I was causing any confusion with my little nickname for the show. Just in case you were trying to look it up or you were wondering about the show, it would have been difficult to find information about it without the proper name, which is the Australian Sheep and Wool Show in Bendigo. It's just that everyone I know who knows anything about it, everyone refers to it as the Bendigo Wool and Sheep Show, or the Bendigo Sheep Show, or the Bendigo Wool Show. And every time I say the Australian Sheep and Wool Show in a conversation about it, people are like, "What? Where's that happening? Is that the one in Bendigo?" No one ever knows what I'm talking about, so I just call it the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show, just like everyone else. But it's been brought to my attention that that's not the actual name, and I thought, after they mentioned that to me, I thought, I might be causing a bit of confusion there by not calling it its proper name. So from now on, I'm going to try really hard to not call it the Bendigo Sheep Show or the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show, and call it by its proper name. But if I slip up, my apologies. And I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about anyway. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is, for the monthly giveaway that I have for my year-long knit-along in my group, I normally would be drawing a winner today because it's going to be my last episode filmed in June. But I've got such a special prize for this one that I thought I'd better give you some extra warning, just in case you've got some finished objects using stash yarn hanging around and you hadn't quite got around to posting them in the FO thread. I thought I'd give you an extra chance, and I'm going to draw the winner next episode instead. So it'll be a little bit later, but I think it will be worth it. Now, this prize, you might remember me talking about it in the past episode, where lovely Melissa from the Spicy Homemaker podcast had been running a little online event, virtual event called the Knitting Games, sort of like the Hunger Games, but for knitters or crocheters. And there was a podcasters one, and a couple of, I think about 12 or 13 podcasters participated in this one, and we had to decorate some little cut-out wooden sheep and alpacas and then photograph them, and then people could vote on their favourites, and my photo came second, which meant I won a prize to give away to you, and it's really beautiful. The first part of it is this beautiful project bag, so gorgeous, I'm going to really butcher this name, I'm so sorry, Herbstblatt Creationen. I'm going to put it up there so you can see how badly I massacred that name, sorry. And it's so cute, it's really beautiful, it's padded and it's just gorgeous. It's got some beautiful top stitching, a really sturdy zip, and the details in this project bag are beautiful. It's fully lined, but not only do you get this gorgeous project bag, but these as well. So you've got a needle gauge, a felt needle gauge from Knitting I Love, with some little handmade tags that say handmade that you can attach to your finished creative works. Just really cool. I love this idea. Oh, I'd really love one of these felt needle gauges actually. I'm gonna have to search one out. So there's that, and this really cool notebook called Big Ideas, and we've all got big ideas, hopefully, and it's the perfect spot to write all those big ideas down. And this totally gorgeous, I hope you can see it through the bag, Sucra Minis stitch marker, and it's a little yellow macaron, and it's a stitch marker. It is so cute. It's adorable. It really does just look like a macaron that's been hit with a shrink ray. And these clover darning needles, you probably can't really see them, but they're in there, and this case so that you can keep them safe in your project bag. And I use these and they're brilliant. So there's also some of these for you, and some point protectors from Clover as well. It's a packet of those. I also use these and they're great. And these are really amazing. Oh god, they're so sparkly. Gift cards as well. A whole packet of them. So you've got quite a few with envelopes. And look at that glitter. Love it. So, next episode, I will draw a winner of this amazing prize. And all you have to do is put your finished objects made using stash yarn in the finished object thread in the Ravelry group, and I'll put a link to the Ravelry group in the down bar. To be a winner, you need to be a member of the Ravelry group, and you'll find all the details so you can find out if your finished piece meets the criteria in that thread as well. And it's pretty easy. There's nothing complicated about it, and it's pretty relaxed. So really the only criteria is that your finished piece is made with yarn that you acquired prior to 2016, and everything else is up to you. So if you've got something hanging around that you hadn't quite put in the finished object thread, do it now so that you can be in the draw to win this gorgeous prize. So cool. And the rest of what I'm going to talk about is actually shop talk for my Etsy shop with my project bags and little things that I've been doing. So if you're not interested in that, that's totally fine. And I'll see you in the next episode. I'm not going to say anything else crucial that you're going to miss here if you don't fancy watching. And I know some people just aren't interested in hearing shop talk, and that is totally fine. I 100% understand. But if you are interested, let's get into it. Let's have a bit of tea. Some of my first things I'm going to show you is some more DPN cozies. This one's hilarious. It's got kangaroos on it. They're pretty funny, aren't they? So it's just got the snaps there, fully lined. My little label in there. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a little caravan on it. And so there's that one. And these are all just going to be popping into my Etsy shop, and you'll have a link in the profile, in the show notes for this. And I've got this pure wool tartan. And this, once again, it's the snaps, lined, little label. Beautiful. And these are a little bit padded just to protect your work, just to protect your needles really. And they're just like this one, same situation, just pop your needles in there with your piece on it. And I've been using these when I'm doing sleeves with DPNs and things like that as well. And I've also used them to put the needle tips of circulars on as well, and that seems to work just fine. And another one that's a little bit metallic. It's pretty cool. Same situation, snaps, lined. And this one, which is from a series of fabric called the Cat Lady series, Cat Lady collection, and it's really cool. The whole collection is amazing. So it's got mushrooms on it, flowers, and it's pretty cool. And plain denim as well with the red snaps. It's pretty cool. And excuse me, I got breathed in a bit of fluff or something. I've got this project bag, and it's got the silver denim, just so groovy. I would thoroughly love to make myself a pair of ridiculously fabulous overalls in this metallic denim. I know it would be totally bonkers, and I would only ever wear them if I was going to a party where I knew everyone there. But I'm a massive fan of overalls. I wear them all the time. When I was using this denim to make the bag, so the whole time I was thinking, I could totally make a pair of overalls out of this denim. And then the sensible part of my brain was saying, don't do it, Shara, don't do it. But yeah, we'll see who wins. So there's this one, fully lined again, and my beautiful little tags. I got those custom made by a company called Grain Deep, who I think are Canadian. I found them on Etsy, but I'll put a link in the show notes because they're really cool and they're so nice to work with. I'm really happy to meet my unusual request, and they're really great. I really enjoyed working with them, and the labels are just superb. So there's that one. Horsies. And little lammies. Look at those little lambs. Look at them. Oh, so cute. There. And I don't know if I'm going to put this one in the shop or not. I don't love it 100%. It's not exactly how I wanted it to turn out, so I might either keep it or give it to a friend. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not 100% exactly what I had in my mind, but never mind. It's sort of like a printed patchwork, if you will. That one's lined as well. They're all lined in the exact same manner. And this one, the gold kitties. Oh my god, it's so cute. Gold kitties. So cute. Love it. That's obviously from the Cat Lady series as well. Kitties. And a large lammy one. And I'm not sure how to ship these large ones. I've got special mailers that fit these perfectly, But these ones, I don't know. If I folded them in half, I could fit them in the same mailers as those, but then they'll have like a very distinct crease down the middle. And of course you can get rid of that crease really easily. You just press it with a hot iron and it refuses the internal interfacing. But not everyone wants to iron a project bag. I don't know, do they? Do people care if their project bag's got a fold down the middle? I don't know. That's why I haven't put any of these extra large ones in the shop yet, because I'm not entirely sure how to mail them. And if I use a mailer that would fit the bag in it without folding it, it literally triples the price of the shipping, and it just becomes unreasonable. So I'm not entirely sure what to do with that. But this is quite a big bag, and it easily fit a sweater in here or a large shawl, and it's just the right size for that. Look, that lamb fabric is so cute. And I've got another large one, which is this with pure wool, and it's the same pure wool as this DPN cozy, and some denim, and it's lined, and it's also got, I don't know if this is going to be visible, it's also got some internal pockets in here for a pen, hook, notions, whatever you want to put in there, tea bags. All my project bags have tea bags, like sealed tea bags in them, just in case I'm somewhere that doesn't have proper tea and I need a cup of tea, because I've always got a knitting bag with me. So they've all got tea in them, which is probably a bit weird. And I've got another one of that patchwork fabric, and once again I'm not 100% thrilled with this. They kind of, now that I'm looking at them on the screen, they look really cool, but I don't know, I'll have to think about it. And this one, which is totally groovy, pineapples. And this is an upholstery weight hessian, which is a bit unusual, but really cool. And the gold denim and the pineapples. They're pretty huge. They've been folded up, so now I can't get them to sit straight, but I'm sure you get the idea. It's not really wonky, despite what it looks like on here. And this one's also lined and has the internal pockets as well for all your... I have to get on a bit of a weird angle, sorry, that's not helpful at all. And I've also been doing something else. I don't know if I'll put these in the shop or not. These ones have been made as presents, but you get the idea. So, looks like this to begin with. Go! And then, maybe wondering what on earth this is. Well, I'll show you. Once you have the little side snap stunner, it becomes a bowl. See that there? And this can be used to put your little notions in as you're using them. Like if you're putting lots of stitch markers in and or out of your work as you're working along a row, this is a great place to just have them sitting next to you on your desk or table or couch, wherever you're sitting doing your work. Pins, whatever you got that you need to put and keep contained in a dish. And it can be great when you're like at knit night and things like that, where you're in a not at home place and you don't want to lose all your little bits and pieces, so you can just have this flat sitting in your, just easily just fold it over or slot it in your project bag like that, and then when you need it you just snap the buttons together and suddenly you've got a little bowl to keep all your little bits and pieces in while you're at knit night as well. And I use one of these myself for that purpose, and I find it really good instead of having all my safety pins and stitch markers and everything else floating around on the table and then wondering where I left them all. It's good. But another thing that I use this for is when I'm travelling or staying at someone else's house or babysitting or whatever I'm doing, and you take your earrings and your necklace and your watch and stuff off when you get into bed, and then I don't have anywhere to put it safely, and I'm always paranoid I'm going to lose an earring or something like that when I'm out and about and away. Well, this fits flat in your bag, so it's not taking up any room, it's light as, and then you snap it together and suddenly you've got a little dish to hold all your little bits and pieces in when you're travelling around. And I've got this one too. It's metallic-y on the outside with that cat lady fabric on the inside. So pretty. Got another one of those, flat one. Haven't done it up yet. And this is one that hasn't got the snaps on it yet, but you get the idea. And it's literally just a square, like 2 squares sewn together with the snaps in it, but brilliant, ingenious. And then a larger one that's still waiting for its snaps as well. So that's what I have been up to. And yesterday, when I was doing all my sewing, the reason this doesn't have its snaps on it yet is because I haven't quite finished it. See, the seam's open. Because this was my very last one that I had to finish. Everything else was finished. And my sewing machine died. I was so annoyed. That was the last thing. I just had to sew around the edge of that, and that was it. I was done with my sewing for the day. But it died, and I could not get it to restart. I thought, oh, it's broken. What am I going to do without a sewing machine? I use it all the time, and there's nowhere that services sewing machines in my town. And I thought, how am I going to get a sewing machine to somewhere that services sewing machines? And so I spent 4 hours yesterday fiddling around with my sewing machine, and I unscrewed it and took the back off it, and it did need a pretty thorough clean. Like, it was full of dust and lint and everything, so I cleaned it all out and I oiled all the components that needed oiling, and then I put it all back together. And the initial thing that I think was stopping it from working was then fixed, but something else went wrong while I was playing around with it, because I'm not an expert. And I thought, great, now I've made it even worse. And in the end, I gave up. I was really upset and I was really annoyed and gave up. And last night, I was sitting on the couch and I was knitting away, and suddenly it struck me. I hadn't tried one more thing that I thought maybe might work. So at about midnight, I got my sewing machine out and I unscrewed it and I undid everything, and I pulled it all apart and then fixed this thing that I thought might be the problem, and I put it all back together, and it now works. And it works beautifully. It actually works better than prior to when it died yesterday. So whatever I did, thank goodness I did it, because now it works. But yeah, just for a few hours there, I was a little bit paranoid and a little bit disheartened, and thought I wasn't going to be able to do any more sewing for a while. And thankfully, I figured it out. That was very good. Well, I think I've actually managed to finish covering everything that I thought I was going to need to. I've done all my shop talk. I've shown you that awesome giveaway that I will do in the next 2 weeks. So if you've got something to put in that FO thread, put it in now, so you can be in the draw for that awesome prize. And I think that's it. I think that's totally it. So thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for sticking around if you stayed this far. Hope it wasn't too boring looking at all my sewing. And I will see you again next time. Thank you.